Hello again and welcome to Reading with Miss Tolliver. Today I will be reading another book that is entitled Great Grizzly Wilderness. This is a story of the Pacific Rainforest. This book was written by Audrey Fraggalosh and illustrated by Donald G. Eberhart. On a gray afternoon in January, a soft patter of misty rain falls on the Kauai River Valley along the northwest coast of British Columbia. Inside the dry, mossy hollow of a giant old cedar tree high on a mountain, a grizzly bear rolls over onto her back. Two tiny newborn cubs climb up on her warm brown belly. They hum happily as they nurse on her rich milk. The mother bear gently licks her cubs before falling back into a deep sleep. The cubs snuggle and suckle close to their mother for the rest of the wet winter. On April, the cubs follow their mother inside and down into the moist green rainforest. Huge western hemlock, red cedar, and Sitka spruce trees, draped in mosses and leeches, tower above them. The mother bear is hungry after sleeping all winter long. She searches for fresh grasses and the tender green shoots of young plants to eat. Sniffing the cool air, she catches the heavy scent of skunk cabbage and heads for its bright yellow flowers that glow like lanterns on the forest floor. The cubs tag along close behind her. A loud, rapid hammering wakes the cubs from their nap near the skunk cabbage patch. In an old dead snag, a pleated woodpecker carves out a nest hole, whacking out wood chips with its powerful bill. Last year's cavity is now occupied by flying squirrels. Nearby, a pair of ravens prepares to nest. To impress the female, the male raven tumbles and rolls in midair and then dives steeply to the ground. Both cubs run after the big black bird, but it takes off into the canopy to continue its courtship flight. Excited by the chase, the cubs tussle and tumble together on the soft, spongy mosses that carpet the forest floor like a fuzzy green blanket. The mother bear joins in the play. She runs after a cub and starts a game of tag. Soon the cubs are big enough to follow their mother along well-worn trails through the rainforest where hundreds of generations of grizzly bears have walked before them. The mother bear steps in huge paw prints, some pressed almost a foot deep into the moss and mud. She lumbers past tall Sitka spruces, scared by bear claws. High up on a wide mossy branch, a marbled murrelet nests on a single egg. Farther along the trail, a big male grizzly stands on his hind legs and rubs his back up and down against a tree. Some of his shedding fur catches in the bark. The mother bear quickly heads off to avoid this dangerous male who could attack her cubs. When it is safe, the mother bear shows her cubs where to snack on salmon berries and the bright red berries of Devil's Club. A big banana slung chews holes in a 2-foot wide Devil's Club leaf. The cubs follow their mother down the trail to a beach. In the shallow waters, 4 river otters dig and dive for fish. Offshore, a small herd of northern sea lions rises out of the cold Pacific Ocean. The mother bear stands up on her hind legs and sniffs the air. She smells wolf and deer droppings. She smells sedges and sweetness of huckleberries. When she cannot smell another bear, she relaxes and tears up mouthfuls of grass-like sedges. Still hungry, she leads her cubs to the beach to dig for clams and to look for crabs washed up by the tides. Late in the summer, the mother bear senses it is time for the salmon to return to the river. She reaches for a fish spot where large, overhanging branches keep the water cool enough for the salmon to spawn or lay their eggs. Nearby, a tiny winter wren twitters and thrills for its song perch in the thick understory. With her cubs by her side, the mother bear patiently watches the bubbly surface of the water for telltale splashes. Suddenly, she charges into the river and chases a salmon around and around. Eventually, the mother bear grabs the wiggling fish in her mouth and brings it to shore. She pins it down with her large paws and bites into it. Streams of bright pink eggs squirt into the air. The cubs eagerly lick up the eggs. Many other animals gather at the koi. Orca whales follow migrating salmon up to the mouth of the river. Black-tailed deer drink from the shallow pools. Bald eagles swoop down from the treetops and carry away salmon in their long, short, sharp talons to feed their young. Ravens, crows, and gulls patrol the shore looking for leftovers to eat. A rare white kermode bearfish up the river, far away from its larger cousins. Some days, as many as 25 grizzly bears fish the river. The biggest and strongest males get the best fishing spots, just below the waterfalls. The mother bear carefully chooses a place away from the dangerous males. The cubs wait on the bank and watch her every move. She wades into the water and swims with her head underwater, snorkeling for salmon. When she comes up for air, the mother bear hears a high-pitched cry. One of her cubs is running as fast as it can away from a huge male grizzly. Wow. She rushes out of the water and charges full speed after the dangerous male. She lashes out at him, raking his rear with her 4-inch long claws. He whirls around, snarling at her. This gives the cubs just enough time to pull itself up into a tree. The big male growls and snarls some more, but the cub is safe. During the last week of summer and early fall, the bears eat as much as possible to fatten up for the long winter ahead. Sometimes the mother bear catches as many as 10 salmon in an hour, and she may eat only the fattest parts, the skin, brain, cheeks, and eggs. When the big leaf maples and alders shed their leaves and the heavy rains begin, the mother bear leads her cubs through the wind-swept forest and up the mountain, back to a winter den. They nibble on the last bit bearberries and bunchberries nearby, and elk chews on leaf-like leeches and have fallen from the canopy. In the branches above, a Douglas squirrel grabs a cone and then hides it underground for winter food. Higher up in the canopy, a hungry marten spies the squirrel, one of its favorite prey. Inside the cavity of the den, the mother bear shows her cubs how to rake together a thick nest of mosses, leeches, and fallen leaves. The grizzly bear then curl up beside each other and fall asleep. Outside, a saw-whet owl hoots and fluffs its feathers to protect its small body from the cold and wet. In the distance, a pack of gray wolves lift their muzzles and howl their territorial claims over this part of the ancient river rainforest. But the grizzly bears don't hear these songs. They sleep through the night and the next day and night, and for most of the winter without eating or drinking, seldom leaving their den. In the spring, when the days grow longer, the mother bear and her cubs slowly wake up and stumble outside. Wisps of mist float overhead as the bears wander among the tall, curling sword ferns, licking up raindrops. Sunlight filters through the canopy and highlights an opening in the rainforest where a tree fell during last winter's storm. It is now a nurse log for young trees. Under the moss covered log, a long toed salamander looks for insects to eat. A rufous hummingbird buzzed by. It has flown thousands of miles from its wintering grounds in Mexico to nest in the rainforest and stops to drink nectar from a pink salmonberry flower. The bears are hungry too after not eating for so many months. The mother bear leads her cubs down to the mouth of the Koyi River to feast on fresh green sedges. She spends hours digging up the nutritious roots of the rice root lily with her powerful claws. The cubs will remember where and when to find these plants next spring. This summer, they will learn how to fish, and by next year or year after, they will be ready to live on their own. And so the ancient cycle of the great bear family continues as it has for thousands of years in the Pacific rainforest. The end. I hope you enjoyed this book today, Great Grizzly Wilderness. I certainly did. And I will see you the next time on Reading with Miss Tolliver.